Okay, let us get started. So we are creating a new system for managing projects and tasks. For this, we will need two databases that we will later connect. So basically, we are building a system of two connected databases. To be able to create that, I would recommend that we start from one empty page. So anywhere in your workspace, just open one new empty page. It will look something like this. Now you see here at the bottom that you do have the possibility to choose database and then start creating a new database right from this point. But instead of that, we will just start with a blank empty page, and then inside of that page, we will create two databases. I think it will be easier for you to manage those, to get those optimized for the system that we are building. So now that you have a new empty page, first give it a name. I will call this one projects and tasks. Next, we have to create those databases, and we are creating databases from scratch here. So to start doing that, just click anywhere below the title, and you have to start typing slash like this, and then continue typing database like this. Then you will see a couple of options here, and we can go with the first one, database inline. Just click on this option. Next, you will see a couple of options here. Please click on new empty database. Now we have created our first database from scratch. Let's give it a name. I will call this one tasks, and I will just add my initials to the name just so it's clear what this database is for. Okay, so we have created our first tasks database. So here we have the first property, and here we have the possibility to add additional properties. So if we now create a new page here, and we can start adding our tasks already to this database. So our first task here will be create new database from scratch. That would be our first task. Then another task would be create database for projects. Okay, so we have a task, so let's do that one. Again, click anywhere below this new database, and again, start typing slash and continue typing database. Okay, like this, and then select database inline. Again, we are starting with the new empty database. Now, let's give this one also a name. So, projects. And now we have our projects database. Let's enter our first project here. So our project here is create projects and tasks management system, something like this. So this is our first project. Then another project could be implement Notion for my company. That could also be a project. Okay, so now we have our tasks and we have our projects databases, but these are too simple to be very useful actually. So we have to kind of expand them. In the tasks database, we have to add additional properties so that it's clear these tasks, when are those due, who is assigned, and what is the status of those tasks. Now, how do we do that? We have to add new properties for that information to be added. So we are clicking here on add new property, and now you could select already some of these suggested properties, but I would like to really do this from scratch. So we will go to this area here, and we will select the person property. The person property is the perfect property for the assigned type of information. So who is actually responsible for this task? Now we have added the person property, and now we will also rename it. So just click on the name of this property and then write over the person to give it a better name. So now we have our assigned property. We can also move it a little bit to the left to make it a bit sorry. we can arrange the width by moving this line a little bit to the left. Okay, so let's add another one. So again, I clicked on the plus to add a new property, and now we will be adding a due date. As said, you could select one of the suggested ones, but let us do it from scratch. So here, select the type date for our date property. Now, again, click on the date and start typing over it to rename it like this. Also, what you could do, you could click on it, you could go to edit, and you can change the date format, time format, and so on, but we will leave it as it is for now. Another useful information for tasks is it already completed? Is it still just being planned? So we will add a status property to it. So here, adding a new property, status. Okay, so now we have the fundamentals for our tasks database. And I will just show you here. If you click on the status property and if you go to edit, you can also rename any of these options and you can add additional ones. So if you have like some stage in between in progress and done, for example, if you have in review, you can add that option here as well. Just click on the plus, start typing, click enter. You can move it below in progress and you can also change the color of it. Okay, so now our tasks database is pretty much set up. Now we will also add additional properties to our projects database. So what do we need to do next? We click on add property. And we will also add the status property for our projects to know whether our projects are in progress, being planned, or already completed. Then we will also add a date property. So for the timeline, when does the project start? When does it end? And also, you could use the timeline for having information about the start and end date all together inside of this property. So something like this, then all you have to do is start. So we will start now by adding a date here. So 14th, and then if you click here on end date, you can also add the end date. So then your date will look something like this. And then here, this is what just a normal date looks like when there is no end date. Okay, so now we have created our first databases. We have added some of the properties. We can also add here one person property for the project manager, just to know who is actually responsible for this project. So now the first step is completed. Now that we have created our two databases, one for tasks and one for projects, let us get a little bit familiar with what do we actually have here and what have we created here. So first, to start with tasks database, you have to understand each database here is just one block inside of this page. Every block in Notion has its own menu and so does the inline databases. So if you move your mouse a little bit to the left of the title of the database, you will see these 6 dots. This is the menu of this database, of this block. If you click on it, then you can see a lot of options here. So you can turn it into a page that will close it. Now, currently it's open as an inline database. You can close it and it will appear as a page. You can also turn it into a simple table. I do not recommend that because then you will lose all the database functions. You can edit the icon. You can add it to the favorites. You can lock it and so on. Just so that you know where those options are, explore them here. Next, inside of our tasks database, here we have a couple of important features. The first one is the filter. So you can filter the database by any property that is available in the database. This here is an icon for sorting. This one is for automations, search, open as full page, and here are the settings. So always get familiar with the filters and with the sorting. If any is applied, then these will be blue. If you click on settings, you will find another set of features options here. So here is the layout. So here is where you can change it from table to board, view, gallery, or anything else. A couple of options here as well. So again, property visibility. This means that here we have a list of all the properties that are currently visible in this view, but we can also hide some of them. So now if I click on this little eye, it will be back. And if I hide it, then those are not visible, they're not displayed in this view, but those are still there, so we can unhide them. So these are some of the most important features that you should be aware of. There are more to it, but please have in mind that you have to really understand how and where to find filters, sorts, the main menu, and settings. Also, pretty important here, this little arrow, this is where you can actually add templates to any database. We currently don't have any, we will have later. So also, if you click on a new page is created. The same things happen. If you click here, it will just also open in a new side view. So we have now created 2 empty pages here. You can select them here and delete them if those are not needed. So those would be some of the basics of the features that you have inside of your database, but please explore it also on your own.